Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of the Vengeance League broadcast. I am Xenaero, and I am joined by co-host HumanBones, Commissioner of the Multiplayer Doom Federation. Welcome to Vengeance League semifinals between the educated drug dealers EDR and the Chosen Ones, TCO, in a best-of-5 showdown on Map 08 and Map 20. Welcome to the broadcast, Bones.
Thank you. Can't get any better than that.
Well, we sure hope so, because earlier today, a broadcast from another caster slash commissioner, Slared, covered a different game that was between Godlike Forces and, I'm drawing a blank on the other team. Who was it, Bones?
PK3, Pistol Kings 3.
And PK3, and that one went to six rounds. Yeah, it went into overtime. So we're hoping to see something similar here today. What can you tell us about these two teams? What is there any history? Is there a rematch? What are we looking at today?
Well, I would say there's a lot of history only because both of these teams contain players that have been around for quite some time. In addition to that, the two maps that they're playing are two of the most played maps in CTF history, starting off with Map 20, which is EDR's home field. Map 20, Cold Sweats, has been played since almost the beginning of organized leagues. And it's a pretty straightforward map. You're not going to see a lot of trick play here. Some players like to rocket jump across the middle, and that's been something more recent that has popped up. But for the most part, pretty straightforward map. It's going to be another slugfest, to steal a word from you. And then on the other side, TCO's home field, Map 8, one of the oldest CTF maps, really can't get any older than that. We saw Daston last week do some amazing stuff as a runner on that map, where he was making all these jumps, all these rocket jumps, all these different moves, and basically obliterated his opponent. So you've got a really, really good matchup. I think it's going to be hard to pick a winner here. Obviously, EDR with the home field advantage, but TCO's coming for him.
That's correct, and it is one thing to recognize that Daston is a legitimate threat on Map 8, and it is another thing entirely to prevent it. Their opponent last week was unable to do so and was knocked out of contention. What will EDR do to prevent this from happening? Because on top of the obvious spectacle of an unstoppable runner on one map, it is still on TCO to take at least one round away from the first two rounds that will be played on EDR's home field, also known as Map 20, which is the map you currently see on your screen. It is it's a pretty tight map. There's going to have to be a lot of mid control. We talked about during a Vengeance Radio that mid is going to be crucial. That was my takeaway from it. Mid is going to be crucial on this map, and it'll be up to EDR how they want to control the mid here, but I think TCO kind of has a strategy in mind, but I suppose we'll see. Anything to add to this, Bones, before we jump in?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually what we saw in the first game earlier today. We saw the lower-seeded team tie the higher-seeded team on their home field. Now, that gave them really good advantage because the lower-seeded team went into the two maps on their home field and won them both. So they actually had a chance to turn around, come back, and win on the higher seed's home field. Now, that didn't happen, so it got bounced back to the lower seed's home field, and basically GLF, which was the higher seeded team, managed to rally back and win. But that's all you can do as the lower seeded team, is either tie. Your best chance is to tie or win, obviously. So they need to do that in the first two rounds to make this game competitive, because you do not want to enter into your own home field down by 2 rounds. That's just not really an option, especially when you're dealing with a team that's been so dominant all season like EDR.
All right, and there you have it. Do you have any predictions going into this semifinals broadcast?
Well, I believe I said this on the last stream, if I can remember correctly. I think if it's going to be a 5-round game, so if EDR comes out, they take the first 2 maps, I think EDR takes it in 5. If TCO comes in and ties or steals a map from EDR's home field, I think TCO takes it in 6 rounds. So it's all going to depend on the first 2 rounds, sorry.
No, go ahead. I mean, and I myself, I called for TCO winning in 4. I think they'll take round 2 and then go into their home field, map 8, and show powerful mid control and, as always, Dastin rocket jumping out of control. But what will we see? Well, we don't know. We didn't expect the last semifinal game to go into overtime, but with no more delays, we're going to jump into the Vengeance server. I believe TCO is trying to practice, and we're waiting on everybody to file in.
Yeah, there are a couple players I want to spotlight before the game starts. I mean, we've got a number of people on EDR, Disparel, Shane, Sharp even. I mean, we know all of them. And we know Dastin. We've seen what Dastin can do. But over the last couple games, Saltmine has really stepped his game up. Look for him to be the crucial member of TCO because, you know, if he's clicking and he's fragging like he's been fragging in the last couple games, they're going to sail to a victory here.
Oh, whoops. Let me fix that. That is something that should not be showing up in the video. I had that semifinals thing in the last second.
Ah.
All right. Now we're waiting on...
anything bad.
Oh, no.
Who knows?
We're careful to avoid that. We're professionals here. No problems here. What are we talking about?
We don't talk over each other, and you know, everything works out smoothly.
Whatever. Well, EDR and TCO are in the server. We just have to wait for them to do a call vote, and we will be beginning on map 20. Cold Sweats. And yeah, you had mentioned Salt Mine, and I agree with you. Salt Mine showing up for mid will be crucial for TCO in their path to victory today.
Yeah, because as we've mentioned all season, EDR is the most well-rounded team in the league, but when you have Legion and Dastin on one side against them, you know, they really can't be going up against EDR basically 2v3. So, and that's not to say, like, you know, we expect Saltmine to not show up, but obviously being the player with the least amount of experience in the game, to see him step up to another level over these past few weeks has really pushed TCO, you know, to another level that they haven't really been able to achieve until now. So without further ado, looks like we're getting a change map here.
And a call vote is underway. We'll be getting into round 1. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you are well. We're bringing you the semifinals match between EDR and TCO. Live, hot, and fresh. Round 1 in a best of 5. The rules are as follows: 5 flag captures for either team, or 10 minutes each round, whichever happens first. Beginning off OJ, we are going to be seeing members of TCO moving up towards the mid and trying to apply pressure there.
Yeah, and it looks like Sharp gets the first touch.
Sharp across mid, tailed by 2, dropped and returned.
Very nice return. Very nice return. It looks like OJ is playing defense more from the middle. There are a couple different strategies you can use as defending here. He's trying to clear the base right now, but he was pushing up a few minutes ago. OJ with a good return. Shane with another touch. Can't get out. And that's what I was talking about. This map is pretty grindy. You're not going to have any kind of trick runs in the base. You're just basically going to have to bulldoze your way through and get a good run out.
The way the map does funnel ends up, everyone does cross paths unless they end up rocket jumping or platforming their way across the mountains. You can get over those mountains to either side. Shane, out to mid, dropped, it's a mutual, it looks like a mutual return. No, it's a pickup. And it eventually is returned, both flags back on their pedestals. It is tough to get a flag out to mid on this map without being shot in the back. You do need cover from your team. There isn't a lot in terms of hard cover for you to use as a runner. We have seen players rocket jump over these mountains before, but it is rare.
It's rare, and not only players shooting you from the back, but there are actually spawns out in the middle. So even if you get out to the middle, there's a chance that someone will spawn there and have a good head start on you.
Very often you will see flags dropped right there at the entrance to the base. This map does encourage a strong defending presence. But, you know, hey, we're only 2 minutes in. Anything can happen.
That's right, Sharp almost got a good touch through the teleporter. It's still sitting on that teleporter, so TCO needs to return that. There you go. That's something I think a lot of players might forget about, is that flag will sit there on the teleporter, and it'll be easy for the enemy to come in and pick it up.
And for those unfamiliar with the map, there are 2 routes into the base. Well, 3 really. You got the window jump that we just saw from Sharp there. There is a teleporter to the side, and there is a main entrance, but they all do funnel through that very narrow choke point at mid. And it is not uncommon for games to end by time limit that you see on the lower left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, it's very common, actually. And, I mean, we're 3 minutes in. We've gotten a couple flags into the middle. I'm not sure we've gotten any flags across the middle. So this is the kind of game that we all expected to see. It's going to take, you know, maybe a coordinated push from one of the team members running along with their main runner to get a flag out. Sharp getting in touch.
Sharp, but he is wounded and it's dropped. It could get chained and picked up, but it is not. And oftentimes you'll see runners get out to this outside area, but they are heavily wounded, and it requires a teammate to pick it up and carry it the rest of the way, which has happened. And I want to say it is the bulk amount of captures on this map over its lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this map is pretty well known for the fact that because that middle is so much of a bottleneck. Here,
Legion pick up the flag and lighting up the floor tiles in front of him. Legion, you gotta pick your arm up, man, if you're gonna hit the enemy Marines. But it is returned.
Yeah, because the middle is such a bottleneck, you're gonna find a lot of what we call train pickups, flag pickups, where multiple members of each team, of your team, touches the flag.
And Legion did get a pickup, and it dropped out. Daston, and it's dropped again.
Oh,
it's picked up again.
Oh,
but it's finally returned by EDR in the middle. A very close capture where every member of TCO was involved in grabbing the flag and trying to carry it a game of inches, but all for naught. It's still tied, 0 flag captures for each team. We're approaching the halfway mark in round 1.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was just talking about. That's like the opposite of the caster's curse right there. They actually did touch the flag 4 times. Just weren't able to bring it into the base.
It was a good teamwork of players needing to be where they had to be for possession, but they were not able to clear out the enemy Marines in the middle. It's unfortunate, but it is map 20.
Right. And pretty interestingly, I'm trying to figure out what TCO's positions are. I think Daston might be defending here, which looks like he is, which is kind of the opposite strategy, obviously, that they'd use on map 8.
We are watching, at the current moment, we're watching Despairol, also known as OJ, because no one can actually use their names as they appear on the splash screen, ever. But he is the captain of EDR.
It's not a specific problem, it's a game-specific problem. From the king of usernames himself, Xenaero.
That's true. We'll get you the compendium of my username changes out on Amazon this week.
Oh, jeez. Comes with a free copy of my AIM friend list, which is half of you.
Dang.
So we're down to a little less than 4 minutes left here. Still no captures. A lot of touches and some really good teamwork, but those flags are just not able to get across the middle. It's almost like both teams are afraid to let up on their defense here, to go for an extra flag run.
Well, being down a flag in map 20 tends to alter how your team strategy shapes up. I mean, we saw... Oh, was that a pickup again?
It was.
Sharp is... Yeah, they were not able to return it. Legion dropped in the enemy base, but Sharp is sitting near the teleporter, which you can see at the bottom of your screen that will show which player we're spy nexting, and he's going to be making a run, but barely trying to time himself out, but both players were waiting for him. They knew that the flag was still in their base, and they had to stop him as soon as he came out.
Yeah, that was a tough return for Dastin. He actually jumped over it because it fell in an awkward spot in the slime. So when he jumped over it, Sharp was able to get the pickup, but obviously low on health, wasn't able to really capitalize on the fact that he had TCO out of position there.
And take a look at the scoreboard. We're going to look at what we got for frags. Dastin leading the pack with 72 frags, and by comparison, Xenaero very close behind.
Salt Mine.
Oh
man, that's the closest anyone's gotten. That is the closest anyone's gotten to a cap. It was almost really good teamwork there. But now they're caught out of position. We got both flags taken.
And we're watching the Chosen One's member, Salt Mine, gets a frag on the teleporter. He knows his position has been made aware.
Oh no.
It's instantly returned by EDR, and that is the first capture from Shane.
That was, I think, a mistake from Dastin. Dastin had an opportunity to grab the flag, but instead he waited in the flag room for someone with his flag to come in and try and score it. Now, obviously, that's risky because if you don't kill him in one shot, they're going to score the flag. So that may have been a risk that Dastin did not need to take. As a result, EDR gets their first cap.
And that is a handoff. As we saw Shane leave the base but gets dropped, it is picked up by Xenaero for yet another capture, 2-0 in round one. With 1 minute left, it's very tough for TCO to come back at this point. That is the momentum shift that both teams were afraid of. You score one flag, it kind of does clear the benches for both teams, and it becomes absolute mayhem. Legion out to mid, and it's dropped on the mountaintop, and both flags returned. But 2-0 in round one on EDR's home field. Not too unexpected, but it is not great for TCO, who is looking for an upset.
It's not entirely unexpected, although, you know, maybe unexpected in the course of this game, because it was really close. And there was just one kind of tactical error from Dastin as EDR gets their third cap, kind of blowing the doors wide open now. So right now, TCO should probably be talking about what went wrong, how they can fix it, because they've got 15 seconds till the next round.
And they'll have a short intermission for calling the vote to the next map. Sharp apparently failing to pick up any gun, just going Tyson mode out in the mist.
Mass VC would be proud, my friend.
Oh my goodness. But that will be the first round of this best of 5 in EDR's favor. That was EDR's home field, and we will be seeing that map again in round 2.
Yeah, so I mean, I think things went pretty well for TCO there up until about 2 minutes left, and, you know, one error led to 2 flags, and then, you know, once you get down by 2 flags with such low time limit, it's almost not worth it to even play defense. You got to try to make anything work that you can. EDR took advantage, went up 3 flags to none. So TCO gets a chance again to build off of that really strong first couple minutes there. Hopefully they can. They're hoping they can tie, at least tie on map 20.
Yeah, and the match was tied until what I would probably say about 6 minutes in. 7 minutes, and then we had our first capture, and then it was all hands on deck. TCO sending everything they had into the enemy base, and EDR took advantage of that, yes. But it remains to be seen what TCO's mindset is going to be going into round 2. This is the round that I would think that they would come together and sucker punch EDR, who is expecting yet another win on their home field. This is round 2 of a best of 5. EDR leading by 1 victory. This is the Vengeance League semifinals.
If we think back to last week, TCO lost the first round to SOS as well, and then they came back and won with the opposite score. So TCO has a history in the playoffs of making comebacks and, you know, turning the tides a little bit. So if there's any team that's going to do it, it's them.
And we're watching Dastin, who is taking a much more offensive role this time as compared to running defense on the first round, he is now apparently their primary runner, going out to mid, even with their flag being taken. That is critical for your main runner to do, not turn back and not let yourself get pinned in by the enemy team. It's allowed his team to clear the base and return the flags.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually, even though you lose a map, if you go back and you play a second round on that map and you're the team that lost, you know, you get a chance to adjust to what the other team is doing. Generally speaking, when you win a round, you have no adjusting to do. So this might work out in TCO's favor, having switched Dastin to O.
And we saw Dastin there for a second, jumping up onto the mountain to kind of shield himself from damage and let enemy players pass by him to get an easier run out. And to a degree, it worked. He was able to get out to mid, but the support was not there.
Yeah, he's, you know, he got those dancing lessons from Chain, but he's got to get the aiming lessons from maybe Dragon and Lane. Combine them both together, he might have had a cap there. But still, I think the pressure that TCO is putting on a little bit more than round one.
Dastin being a career runner for the majority of his time in various leagues, he's able to apply a little bit more concise offensive pressure, and that will draw EDR back a bit. EDR will not feel as confident moving up to mid, trying to control mid up to the enemy base entrance, and that is helpful for his own defending unit.
Right, and the thing about this map is you really do need a frag heavy runner, because Dastin jumps across the hill but can't get it. You really need a frag heavy runner to make a lot of good runs on this map.
But that is at least the third time we've seen Dastin get a flag out to mid by himself. If he's able to coordinate with the rest of his team and control mid, wrangle the mid away from EDR, then that's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, I think right now TCO is in the better spot. They've made more out of their adjustments than EDR has. So, you know, they're in a good spot. They just got to keep working for it. Dastin's getting a lot of good touches, a lot of good flags across the middle. I think eventually they're going to break through.
And Shane staring down two enemy defenders, and no luck there. It is tied 0-0 with 6 minutes left on the timer in round 2. Hope you all are having as much fun watching as we are broadcasting this on map 20. It is a crazy slugfest map. Sharp out to mid.
Really good run.
2 frags, and that is some coverage from his team. EDR will be going up 1-0. Excellent. That is what we were talking about with TCO. The rest of your team was out there covering you. You were able to capture the flag.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, I'm watching Dastin right now. He's gonna try a rocket jump. Very
great angle, but shot right out of the air by EDR.
They were ready for that one. Dastin actually rocket jumped himself over to try and return that flag, but he wasn't able to do it. Good run from Sharp. EDR showing why they picked map 20 as their home field.
And great run from Dastin. He has the cover he needs. He needs a return, and that base has to be secure.
They gotta cover it.
It is the response from TCO. A great run from Dastin. His team was in position to tie it up 1-1 in round 2. It is now anyone's game. Both teams taking a solid left hook to the jawline here. Losing a flag on map 20 can be a huge momentum shift because of how much of a choke point it is.
And TCO prevented the patented cap back from happening, and now Dastin getting another good touch, although he was taken down by a swarming defense of the entire team of EDR.
And that flag could be the morale boost they need after. That is their first flag capture in this series, but Shane is across as we were talking about it, and EDR is now up by 1 flag with less than half the game remaining. TCO needs a reply, but they have exposed that they can fight back. They can capture on EDR's home field.
And Dastin doing some good stuff here. Like I said, you know, just really dancing around. He just needs a good angle. I mean, he's taken this route every single time now where he jumps over the ledge in the middle. And that's a really good way to sneak by the defender. That's probably one of the only ways you can sneak by the defender here.
Sharp tried to get in on that window. You do have to hit that little metal ledge to jump into the window properly. And if you're being shot during the same time, you can't. Your momentum can be shifted because Doom Guy does have inertia when moving.
Sharp about to get a touch here, unless he's just fragging. Yeah, there we go.
Causing mayhem for EDR, making them, or for TCO rather, and making them fall back into their base. It can give the rest of your team breathing room to move up to mid and set up for another run. There is strategy with moves like that. Salt Mine with a touch, but no luck. Sharp out to mid, but chased and dropped.
Yeah, EDR has kind of, switched. I mean, EDR is putting a lot of pressure on now, and TCO is getting caught, kind of on their heels here. So we'll have to see how they adjust. I do think Dastin's still getting touches, but right now you're seeing Sharp and Shane just kind of overwhelm Legion as a defender.
Well, let's talk about how the margin. I mean, we still have a couple minutes left, yes, but the margin of flags is now 1 compared to 3 at the end of last round. So if TCO made an adjustment, do you think that is effective as a morale boost going into round 3?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think what we've seen so far is that these positions work so much better for TCO.
Dastin needs that coverage, but he gets to the footsteps of his own base, but there is no one there to help him. Now, oh man, I thought EDR was going to be across with that, but they were able to return it, so that is good work from TCO to return their own flag.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, even if TCO loses this, with this lineup, this is only the first time in this game they've played with these positions.
We have a standoff right now.
Yeah.
Dastin, we know, is hurt. I don't know about Shane. And that was Sharp coming through the teleporter. Tried to turn around in time to blast Dastin, thinking that it's pretty common for carriers to sit there behind the teleporter. Because when you come through a teleporter in Doom, there is a set angle that you always come out at.
I think Dastin is doing the right thing, though. He was behind the teleporter, and he's now moved to a different spot. So...
And that was Sharp mutating. Did not have the health to reach that door that Dastin is waiting at. Great rocket from Dastin, but he's probably low on health. And switch over to Shane, who is being chased by multiple people. Barely gets away. The standoff does continue, and Shane is now actually going towards the same corridor in the back that presumably Dastin still is waiting. Excellent rocket, well-timed rocket from Dastin there. On to Sparrow.
Ooh, and Shane getting a rampage. I mean, nobody's getting
he was quick enough to stop the next guy coming in. That was a quick return in the last minute of the round.
Salt Mine with a pickup here, though. He can get across.
Salt Mine dropped at mid. The flag, there's a red flag down somewhere. No, it's pretty close to the main flag rim. And which Shane picks up and takes over to mid, but it is returned by Legion.
Yeah, TCO really needed to win that standoff. And I mean, Dastin did what he could to hold them off. But with Shane on the other side getting a rampage, taking out Legion and Salt Mine, I mean, eventually someone's going to crack. So EDR successfully, pretty sure, able to hold on and defend their own home field. And now we get into the interesting part. Now we see map 8. Can Dastin completely change the tide and, take over this game?
And we knew... we know this as players, but for anyone new who might be watching, that is how razor thin these games can be. We saw Dastin not get that rocket off in time for that player to come around the corner and return their flag, which resulted directly in a score for EDR. That is the level of play in capture the flag players in this ancient game that we have now made highly competitive. So that being said, EDR does defend their home field in rounds 1 and 2. Map 8, the highly technical map that we saw TCO run rampant on last week, is now going to be in rounds 3 and 4. We will see round 4 provided that TCO does win this next round. It is a match point for EDR.
That's correct. And if anyone was paying attention last week, you'll know that this next map is nothing like map 20. So it's going to be a really interesting shift in gameplay here. I'm hard pressed to watch anyone other than Dastin.
We'll be cycling between, but in the far end of the screen, we saw a red player just jumping across, doing his thing, and that is one Dastin who dropped down into the enemy base to try to get out the normal old-fashioned way. I believe Sharp tried to rocket jump and failed.
Yeah, now I should mention that, of course, Dastin is not the only person in this game that can do these sort of things, but here we go. Let's see what he can do out of this. Oh, well,
Dastin back up. Gets one frag, gets that soft rocket jump, but is shot out of the air, and that flag is dropped and returned.
That's one of those rare times you're going to see him not make that, but here we go. He's already got another touch.
Gets one defender, but does not have a rocket to work with. He is delayed. That is, and brought down by Despero's pistol.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, if you just look at the way he's moving, like, this is someone that does this probably better, not probably, I mean, better than anyone else at moving around this map. Just the trick jumps, dodging, like he dodged on teammate.
Good clear from Dastin on Sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know what Sharp is doing there, staring at the wall. Saltmine nearly got out to mid, but Shane has the flag now, and he's up top, looking for a route that hopefully will not result in him taking damage. He saw a spawn behind him. The time is now to move. The mid was clear. Sharp is, or Shane is across, and Shane scores and resets himself with a rocket suicide, and he's back across, making the same kind of moves we saw from Dastin. That is first blood for EDR in map 8.
Yep. Obviously, I started to mention before things went crazy that Dastin's not the only person that can do these rocket jumps. And that's proof right there. I mean, we saw, we do see other players able to manipulate the map, to their advantage. So, TCO's in a rough spot right now. I mean, they really can't lose. They can't lose this game.
And that is some good coverage. He needs to get away from his own teammate. They are magnetized out at middle, and that results in a return for TCO.
A fist return, actually.
What's the fist return?
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. A Sharp with a touch. Trying to do the trick jump up top. I can't give you the specifics of that jump, but it does work. Sharp, and it's picked up by Despero, and that mid presence allowed EDR to come away with another capture.
Yeah. Yeah, this is starting to get bad fast for them, for TCO.
And we're watching Saltmine try to apply some mid pressure here at mid, and we'll be seeing if his carrier was able to get across, but it is returned. It's a mutual return, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, Dastin was able to get over, but his flag wasn't at the pedestal.
Now I'm watching Saltmine because I wanted to shed some light on how important it is on map 8 to control the mid. Like, that presence there, not only covering, but also to act as a pickup and secondary carrier for your team. See, and that is exactly the type of mid presence that has to exist. Dastin with a touch pickup from Legion, who happened to wander into its path and got confused and then ran into a wall and also died.
Oh man, yeah, this map's a fun one.
Dastin going out the old-fashioned way, crushing everything in his path. Needs to not get blocked. He looks clear, and that is the response from TCO. They're going to need a lot more of that as we have 6 minutes left on the clock. It is match point for EDR, the blue team, 2-1. It's going to be tough for TCO to come back, but it is not unheard of.
Red flag taken.
That's right. And now Sharp getting another touch, trying to do that jump, not able to get there.
That jump is tricky, and I think you can do that on other ports as well. I'm not 100% sure the specifics of that jumping on that angled surface. Dastin up top.
Yep.
Yeah, jumps over that gap. That is a hard gap to cross for most players. And now the flag has dropped up top. Can he make it up there? What's he gonna do? You do have a little bit of time. Legion jumped up there and picked it up, and it was Legion who jumped up, said, "Don't worry about it. I got it, Dastin. Go for another flag." And he is. I mean, while that scramble was happening for the blue flag up there, Dastin went for another touch just as Legion scored.
Yeah, that series from Legion right there, where he rocket jumped up there, grabbed the flag, scored it. He died and then had to rocket jump over again just to kill the guy who had his flag. So really good series from Legion.
And it's
Holding his own on defense here.
It's hard to do. Defense on this map is very hard to do with how good runners have gotten. So while we watch whatever Shane was doing there, we'll bring up the frag count. Teams are roughly even on frags. It is a matter of technical prowess right now. With both teams tied, we're approaching 4 minutes left on the clock. It really is anyone's game, and it's TCO's to lose right now, having replied with two flag captures in a row. Can they get a third?
Yeah, and I want to give some credit to Legion on this because he is, playing with 130 ping, a little bit higher than he's used to, so he's doing a good job.
These are European servers. Legion with he's the main defender. A defender with under 30 ping is not easy. I can attest to that. But he's doing an excellent job, 35 frags, and he's moving up to support his runners. So that is the mark of a good defender on map 8. Knowing when you don't have as much pressure as you normally do, and using that to help your offensive team.
Yeah, now the thing about this is
Legion
got caught going around in a circle so he can get the return. TCO can tie this. A tie would not eliminate them from the game. That would only give them 2.5 out of 3 points, but it basically puts them deeper and deeper into the hole here. So ideally, they'd like to come away with the win here and try and get things a little bit closer. But
yeah, tie is not the end of the road for TCO, but that would not be ideal. Oh!
Now there are two guys.
And
okay.
What happened there?
Well, I don't know. That was interesting. I'll have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I'm actually curious what happened at that point. It happened a little bit too quickly. Daston I don't know if he has the health, though. He does not.
He tried it, though.
Fortunately, we can't see health values because the technology isn't there yet. But as you know, with rocket jumps, you are sacrificing health. Runners have gotten a lot better at figuring out exactly which angles to generate the precise amount of thrust without losing too much health. That is practically an art form.
Yeah, and we watched Shane actually did a rocket jump over into the enemy base now.
Yeah, Shane, we have seen Shane, Legion, and Daston use the same soft, quote-unquote, rocket jumps to maneuver around the map to get up on our side, as we saw right there on the right-hand side. Who is that? Who is that man?
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I'm not sure, but, Shane's getting a lot of good touches here, keeping the pressure on as he knocks out Daston.
And giving EDR tons of credit here for stopping what last week we saw as a machine. EDR tied up on a home field that is absolutely a far cry from their own. Saltmine doing some decent work out at mid. We're going to switch over to Xenaero, who gets a nice pistol kill right off of spawn.
Yeah, I mean, this is Xenaero's team that he put together. He chose map 20 as a home field. I believe they were pretty confident in it, but, you have to wonder if you saw these kind of wacky home fields in the playoffs, if maybe picking something like map 20 might have come back to bite him in the ass, but it did not, and now they're playing map 8. So good job defending so far against Daston here.
Great job from Xenaero there, holding his shot until he knew that he could pin the movement of the attacker there. It is a little bit easier now for Xenaero to play, considering that the server cluster used for Vengeance League this season is in Europe.
That's right. Shane tried to do that jump again, tried to get out. Really good return from Sharp. What a good return.
Excellent return from Sharp. Daston was almost cleared across, but that mid was not clear. Have mid presence, and you'll be able to drop a couple of defenders.
We've got 13 seconds left. If Shane can somehow get this, there's still enough time. I think he's going to get this.
Oh, it's dropped! Oh no, is there enough time? It got returned. It will be a tie. It's a draw game.
But wow, that is a season saver right there.
That was very, very close. That could have been either way. Hopefully that moment will not come back to haunt players, but will be the good thing for you as the viewer. We're going to be seeing yet another round on that map. No team had the advantage there, so which in as far as the series goes between EDR and TCO, TCO has some ground to make up. They have serious ground to make up. I don't think they can afford another tie.
No, they cannot, because if they tie again, that's 0.5 points. Right now, EDR has 2.5 points, and TCO has half a point. So every time you tie, both teams get half a point. So if the total's 3, just some simple math here provided by the Multiplayer Doom Federation, 2.5 plus half a point is 3 points. So that would take EDR over
Is
the
that
limit,
right?
qualify them. Yes, I believe so. Qualify for the finals, where they're going to play against GLF. By the way, Saltmine is restarting his PC, so we're taking a bit of a breather.
Taking a little break, get some beverages, get some snacks, head on down to the Doom lobby, and get your
Get your popcorn.
get
your
some
hot dog.
refreshments. Yeah, absolutely. Because we're not done yet. It will be round 4 when a member of TCO returns.
And for an extra 25 cents, you can turn your large into a jumbo size, and you can get yourself a nice jumbo size Red Mountain Dew.
Lava flavored.
Now, 25 cents is, of course, $0.25.
Is that also math provided by the Multiplayer Doom Federation?
That's correct, yes. And Saltmine is back. Restarted his computer. That's pretty fast.
Dude, you got that. If you got that M2 drive, you are back lickety split. Boot Windows 95, boot Doom 95, and you're back in the server. It's that easy.
Right. See, I don't know. I remember when my computers weighed about as much as, I don't know, a car.
A car. Nice. You had that IBM
That 1
supercomputer
gigabyte.
and running Doom. No problem.
1 gigabyte hard drive. Player. Oh no. You joined. Now, part of the problem is because we read stats. Stats get parsed through.
We try
demo.
to. We try to read stacks.
Yeah. When somebody joins, it gets all fucked up. But that's okay.
So we're looks like members of EDR and TCO are ready to rumble.
Ready to rumble?
EDR calling for ready? Question mark. Waiting for a reply from TCO. And the beauty of Doom is that if you want to follow the game yourself, the server is public. You can join and spectate and watch whichever player you want to watch. As evidenced by the 800 spectators in the server.
Yes, it's all colors of the rainbow.
Even colors you didn't know existed.
Yeah, made up colors.
Who doesn't love colors?
Well, probably colorblind people.
Well, the only colors that matter right now are blue and red going into round 4 of the semifinals match between EDR and TCO. Starting off on Sharp, jumping up top, getting across. He is noticed by mid. Probably called out, not by that guy, that's for sure. Sharp back up top. Or back up top? Back, no, definitely not. Back to the bottom.
Yeah.
That flag ace returned.
Yeah, Sharp's making some really good rocket jump runs here, but not able to have much success yet getting out. Although I'm talking like we're not only 30 seconds into the damn game, people making a bunch of flag touches.
And rarely do you see a runner take the full... Oh, Sharp does make it this time. We saw
Really
it from the point of view of Legion. Sharp is across. He doesn't make the jump, and he does get cleared by his teammate, fortunately, and it is a capture within the first minute of round 4. EDR is up.
I just I wasn't really sure where TCO was there on that flag run. I mean, Sharp didn't experience like any kind of discomfort getting that flag across.
Yeah, TCO was simply caught out of position. Now going to Dastin for a possible response. There are 2 defenders up top. He drops one, but gets traded.
Red flag returns. Flag taken.
Legion defending his own lift pretty well. Dastin has a touch, whereas Dastin on the floor trying to make it up top. The jump doesn't go his way, and it is returned by Desperal.
Yeah, situations like that, you know, you've only got a certain amount of time to make that jump. If you can't make it, you know that the defender's coming for you.
Now watching Shane, shot in the back
Flag taken.
by Salt
Red
Mine,
flag
but
taken.
does make it over to the red side. Not a lot of health to speak of, but clears out one defender before dying himself.
Yeah, we've really seen throughout this entire game, EDR has completely shut down, save for the tie last round. TCO
Shane
off.
is across. And maybe a touch. Clears that, drops the plasma lift.
Flag taken.
Which, you know, we still have never seen a plasma gun brought out in map 8, like, ever.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're playing...
Ooh.
Ooh.
Catches a rocket in the
Flag
teeth,
returned.
and the flag is returned.
I mean, actually, if you lower that lift for the plasma, that's not a bad spot to defend from. But it's also kind of useless at the same time, so... What can you do? Sharp coming out. The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, he gets propelled across with a full blast to the back, and it is returned. There is no mid presence for EDR there at that time. Otherwise, it could have been a pickup.
Flag taken.
Dastin going out.
Blue flag
Oh, it doesn't quite make it. The flag is dropped at the very top of the drop down. And it is returned. I mean, the only flag captures, it was within the first minute, and until then, it's been a lot of stuff getting out towards mid-side, but nothing converted.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of touches in this game, though. And in this round in particular, we've seen a lot more, I think, than we were seeing last round at this point.
Now watching Legion kind of duel with somebody up top, and eats rockets for his trouble.
taken.
Shane, come on,
Shane's
Shane,
on.
work those legs, brother. He
Alright,
finally
well.
gets up top, gets a little med kit for his troubles, but does he have enough momentum to get... Oh, he gets
well.
intercepted by Salt Mine.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that they would have, TCO would have been able to get Shane sooner than that with the amount of times he tried to make that weird jump, but
Well, that is the trouble with this map. You don't have a line of sight to a lot of places, so you have to kind of assume,
Red flag taken.
often, you know, correctly, that the runner is already out, like far gone.
Flag returned.
yeah, definitely. It's a tough map like that, and Salt Mine can't seem to make this work.
Shane going straight up and then coming back down like a rocket.
Flag returns.
But
Salt Mine had a chance to pick that flag up, but he just could not get onto that little ledge. Like, he just, like, was... I don't know. His keyboard wouldn't let him. So, unfortunately, wasn't able to get the pick up there, and we're approaching 5 minutes left.
halfway in, EDR with the one flag ahead that they need to secure the series. TCO is starting to feel the pressure.
Oh,
They
and
know.
that was almost a pickup from Salt Mine.
Almost a pickup from the Salt Mine, but not quite, and almost is not going to work for a semifinals match. TCO needs to have a concrete capture. They have to be able to convert it. They have to get something rolling.
Flag taken.
I take it your bird is enjoying this game too.
That thing is a monster.
Flag taken.
So yeah, TCO, they can't tie this game, man. They gotta get 2 flags right now. They are technically down by 2 flags at the moment. An interesting double rocket kill there from Legion.
Sharp clearing the mid and then pushing up. Getting yet another shot. He's doing excellent work in applying frag pressure to
Yeah.
TCO.
He's doing a lot of weird stuff, which, like, that's not to say it's bad.
A lot of
like,
weird stuff, like fragging the enemy team.
well, no, I mean, he's lowering the plasma lift, and he's just, like, instead of taking the flag immediately, he's coming out and shooting rockets and trying to, like, throw them off a little bit, maybe. Dastin, almost. Now, this flag is still...
That flag is there. He picks it back
Oh.
up and it's dropped again
What a
and
shot.
returned by Desperal.
What a shot from Shane. That was amazing.
Red flag dropped. Red
And Shane's gonna hot off that fucking amazing return. Got a flag pickup. Wasn't able to do anything with it. But we are down to 3.5 minutes left. It's not looking good for TCO.
If you're TCO in this situation, I'm not sure what your options are. I mean, you probably have thrown everything at it.
Mm-hmm. You can't move Dastin off. Oh, that's not really an option. I mean, we've seen Legion make some pushes here. Legion's gotten some flag pickups. But yeah, I mean, the only move you can make maybe is to forego even having a defender.
I mean,
but I don't know when you make that call.
Xenaero with 43 frags is a very apt defender for EDR. No other standout player. Saltmine not bringing to bear the same amount of frag power as he did last week. Shane going to the stars, but only his body will. The flag drops back to the ground and is returned. We saw a sharp dart across the screen there.
Yeah,
I
like seeing that.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
We have seen the rare rocket jump of that kind of angle, but like, it's a perfect angle to get out to mid, and it's just the momentum the player has at that point is astounding. We have seen that once or twice.
You have to think that probably 2 minutes left, this might be the time where you throw everybody at the flag. I mean, what do you have to lose right now? You haven't gotten a flag out in 8 minutes. Do you really think that 2 more minutes is going to get you something else? So, I don't know. For TCO, this might be the time to forget about defense.
Shane's got TCO. Saltmine is grabbing a super shotgun and moving up, but he's looking back, looking for Shane.
Shane is juking them out a little bit.
Auto aim! The rocket triggered the auto aim with the player that close.
Oof.
And there was no rocket jump to be had.
Saltmine trying to get out.
Saltmine eating a grid of rockets.
Yeah. And we're down to the last minute here. Nothing short of a miracle.
But Dastin has the flag. Let's see what happens there. Nothing.
Not enough health. And if Shane gets this...
Shane's got a way out. He is propelled into lava. Oh, he catches the rocket right before he hits the teleporter, and it is returned.
TCO's still alive, but barely. Dastin trying to make one last run for this. And Desperal just plays him so well, he just stands still.
Yeah, it's a great strategy for a defender with an opponent who moves very well.
Yeah.
Because people who move well, they anticipate you firing at the typical opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, players are creatures of habit. They expect you to move one way. If you don't move at all, it's almost lights out. And speaking of lights out, unfortunately, it looks like the end of TCO's season here.
Yeah, and at this point, they will not be able to make an end-to-end point. There's not enough time left. We will be waving goodbye to TCO. Well played, but we will not be seeing you in the finals.
Yep, EDR. EDR takes it. And they've now earned themselves a golden ticket to Vengeance Season 3 Finals up against GLF. They will have home field advantage. EDR, of course, will play 2 rounds on Map 20, and then GLF's home field is Map 43, Slave Machinery. I think those 2 maps are actually very, very similar. So we're going to see...
Map 43, is that where... Oh,
are you still on the server?
Map 43, yeah, I'm still here. I'm kind of trying to find a portrait, honestly.
Let's call a vote.
Yeah, let's take a look at...
Yeah.
And we'll give you a little preview of what to see in the grand finals next week. This will be, and the map that we're looking at right now is Map 43, Slave Machinery. That will be taking the place of the last couple maps we saw, Map 8. That will be GLF's home field. So we will be seeing the first 2 maps that we saw today, Map 20, and we'll be seeing 2 rounds of this until there is a victor. So this map is pretty... God, it's actually kind of similar to... Yeah, it is pretty similar to Map 20.
You've got the teleporter, and you've got that pretty wide open middle. Now, the only difference is you can't really do any rocket jumps here. So it's going to be straight up frag fest.
Yeah, the middle will be tough to control. There's a little bit of hard cover, a couple green armors to control. But that's a little preview of what we'll be seeing map-wise next week.
Of course, GLF is Lang, Poto, Azriel, and Tanya. So that's a really formidable opponent for EDR. EDR has not lost a single game this season as they enter into the finals here. I do believe that they've only actually been extended. Their games have only been extended by 2 opponents, SOS and now TCO, who brought them to 4 rounds. So GLF has a tall task ahead of them in this one.
That's right, and man, what a series we just saw. A Fragfest map and a highly technical map. So congratulations to EDR for proceeding forward. They will be playing against Godlike Forces GLF in the grand finals. Also a best of 5, same rule set, but 2 titanic opponents going head to head in what will be the end of Vengeance Season 3. We hope to see you there next weekend, presumably, if the schedule works out that way. I am Xenaero, and I am joined by HumanBones. Thanks for coming out today, Bones.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you to everybody for watching today. We'll be seeing you later, but hope you have a happy Sunday, happy rest of your week, and we'll play you out with a theme we've been using for the Vengeance Season 3. Have a great one, everybody.